Hey everybody, Jeremy here, bringing you a review of the brand new trailer for the upcoming Christopher Nolan movie Dunkirk. I've never done a trailer review before, but I am so excited about this movie that I figured I would. Let's just get into it. Dunkirk is an upcoming World War II movie from amazing director Christopher Nolan, you know, from Interstellar, the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, The Prestige. I mean, the guy's got a track record that, if you don't know who Nolan is, go out and just get his entire, I was going to say rent, but go out and, you know, VOD or whatever, his entire catalog, because Nolan is amazing. Let's just give you a brief overview of what's going on. This movie looks to be taking place during the Dunkirk evacuation. There was also a Battle of Dunkirk that preceded the evacuation. It all has to do with the early days of World War II, when it was the UK and France and Belgium, and not that many countries were fighting in World War II. At this point it was 1940. Dunkirk ended up culminating in this massive evacuation of almost 400,000 troops that had to be taken from the beaches of France, across the English Channel, to the cliffs of Dover and around there, all within just a few days span as German forces closed in and they were strafing the beaches. And you can see a lot of this in the trailer. This is a big deal. This was a big epic event. We've actually only seen Dunkirk a couple of times on films. There was a 1958 movie of the same name, and then there was the 2008 movie Atonement with James McAvoy. You might remember this scene. It was this beautiful, long, 5-minute tracking shot of him walking across this madhouse of a beach, and there was horses and soldiers and blown up ships and a guy on a pommel horse. It was just a beautiful scene. If you haven't seen Atonement, check it out. I will put the 5-minute tracking scene down below, but it's a good thing to check out. This movie looks to have an all-British cast. I don't think there's a single American in it, as there should be. There wasn't any Americans in this battle. The film has an all-star cast. If you look here, we've got Kenneth Branagh. The younger millennials might know him as the arrogant and incompetent teacher Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Those of us who are a little older might remember him as the guy who I think has adapted almost every Shakespeare play into a film. Maybe not almost everyone, but a significant chunk of Shakespeare's plays have been adapted by Kenneth Branagh. In this scene with him, we've got James D'Arcy. I think that's how you say it. It's got the little swoop like D'Artagnan. It might just be Darcy. I don't know. You would know him as Jarvis on Agent Carter, the precursor to the AI and Stark Butler, you know, for comic book fans. He was also in the second season of the amazing British drama Broadchurch, which you should really check out. My personal favorite role of his is as Sixsmith and various other characters in Cloud Atlas. This movie, of course, has been widely publicized as the acting debut of One Direction star Harry Styles. I personally didn't know who Harry Styles was before I watched this trailer. I had to look it up. I did find him in the trailer. I think he's in another shot, but it seemed kind of spoilery if we looked at it too much, so I'm not going to put that one up. Academy Award winner Mark Rylance makes an appearance. You know Mark Rylance. He won last year for Bridge of Spies. He's also in Steven Spielberg's The BFG. He's going to be working with Spielberg again in the upcoming Ready Player One adaptation. Rylance looks to be the captain of one of the little ships. The little ships were all these ships pressed into service by the British that were like civilian, private merchant ships that actually went over to Dunkirk because they just did not have the infrastructure to evacuate all these people at once, and they brought him over. He is sharing scenes with longtime Nolan collaborator Cillian Murphy. I think it's Cillian. I've heard him say it as Cillian, I believe. Obviously Murphy, we know him as Tommy Fucking Shelby from Peaky Blinders, obviously the Nolan movies, The Wind That Shakes the Barley, Breakfast on Pluto. Speaking of longtime Nolan collaborators and Peaky Blinders stars, there is a brief shot of Tom Hardy as a pilot. I'm assuming he's an RAF pilot. I'm not super good at knowing what pilot should be wearing, so he could be a German pilot with the amount of planes that are strafing, but I'm assuming he's probably a British pilot. As far as longtime Nolan collaborators go, we are missing one. His longest collaborator, Michael Caine. Michael Caine's been in every Nolan movie since Batman Begins. That doesn't mean that he's not in this, just that it hasn't been announced, it's not in the credits on IMDb, and he's not in the trailer. If we're going behind the camera, another longtime Nolan collaborator, Hans Zimmer, is doing the music. Hans Zimmer, obviously known for hundreds of movies. He pioneered the whole in Inception, which doesn't seem to be in this trailer either, which is good. Maybe that trend is over, and he did start it, though. Hans Zimmer is a genius. I'm really looking forward to the score. I mean, this is the guy that once broke a piano and then played it in an underground parking garage to get the sound he wanted for Sherlock Holmes. Again, Nolan, who loves to work with the same people, has brought back his Interstellar cinematographer, Hoyt van Hoytema. I think that's how you say that. That is an awkward name. It's almost a palindrome. Hoytema is known for other projects like Spectre and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and the 2008 cult Swedish masterpiece, Let the Right One In. Not the remake, the original that is beautiful another thing you should check out. Look, I don't want to give away too much of the story. Obviously, we're seeing all sorts of stuff going on here. We've got beach action. We've got some Titanic-esque boat singing action. It looks like Harry Styles is inside a hole with a bunch of other soldiers hiding out. We've got rescues. We've got gunfights. We've got this one kid that they keep showing that I'm assuming might be an unnamed star. I have a feeling this is being told from different points of view. I don't want to get too much into the story of Dunkirk because obviously it's best to go into these things knowing as little as possible. But if you want to know about Dunkirk, there are obviously tons of documentaries and books that you can cut your teeth on. Dunkirk was a huge tragedy though, so you probably won't get the super uplifting ending that you might expect out of this. I mean, it was coupled with the Blitz that was going on in the UK at the time, the lowest, darkest point for Britain in World War II. But, you know, it created that fighting spirit that led them to spearhead the Allied effort on the Western Front, and, I mean, spoiler alert, win us World War II. Thanks for watching my first trailer review. Tell me how I did in the comments. I will do more of these for movies that look interesting. If you want, kick us a like, kick us a subscribe. Take it away, Winston Churchill.
We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.